Hello, this is Lightning Stalker. Recently, I have been needing a way to dry out thermoses. This one in particular takes about 3 days to fully dry, air dry, even if you leave it upside down like this. And if you need a way to dry, because I don't want to drink bleach, I've had to bleach these out, and I don't want to drink that bleach, that flavor. So I want to dry it completely out to get all that out of there before I go to drink out of it. And I needed some way to get air down there, force air in there, using something that, in warm air too, because to help it evaporate. Something that wouldn't cook the inside, that wasn't too hot. Because there could be plastic or rubber seals in there that could melt or just crack and go bad if they get too hot. So what I came up with, it uses a hair dryer and set on low. If you have one, you can even run it off of a variac to make it run very slow and cool. Some hair dryers have a setting where they don't heat, they just blow air, and that's also good if you need to cool down the thermos when you're done. And it's just a few plumbing parts is all it is. So to get from the hair dryer to the thermos size, and you're going to need to measure this out and figure out what size that is. You want your pipe to be just a little bit smaller, and I did a calculation by volume. You don't have to, or surface area. I took the surface area of this and then I divided it in half to find out what size pipe would have half the surface area. But you can approximate it. So eventually what I came up with, at least for this one, this ends up being 1-inch black polyethylene pipe. And you want to also measure from how long, take something and put it down in there to see how deep that is. And then you need to add 1 inch or 3 centimeters at the top. But also keep in mind at the bottom then, air needs to come out, so that 1 inch or 3 centimeters ends up at the other end. So what you need to do is just figure out how deep that is, and then when you have it all together, that'll be in the inside of there, that hose barb, and just leave like 3 centimeters or 1 inch sticking out like that. And don't put it all the way down, because otherwise the end of it will be sitting on the bottom, and that's gonna block the airflow at the bottom too. So the pieces of pipe that I used, they ended up being a 2-inch spa hose, and this just fits on both hair dryers that I happen to have. It somehow works out. Of course, they also both happen to be this particular brand, so that might have something to do with it. But you can see here, that fits, that perfectly goes over it. And it's about you want to leave enough there so that when it goes over this fitting, there's a little space in there for the end of the hair dryer. And so then you need the hose barb, 2-inch hose barb for the 2-inch spa hose. And that'll end up being a female in my case. You might figure something else out, because eventually what you have to do is get down from 2-inch to 1 inch or whatever size you determine you need for your particular thermos. And that's what all these other fittings do. So we go down, I ended up going down from the 2 inch here to 1.5, and then from 1.5 to a 1 inch hose barb. Now there are fittings that will do that with one fitting. Unfortunately, I'm not able to find one in my area. I used to live by a really nice plumbing store, but unfortunately, if there's one around here, I don't know. So you just thread all those together and put the pipes or the hose onto the barbs. And if you're having trouble getting it onto the barb, all you need to do is just run your hair dryer for a minute until that warms up, and then it'll just slip right on. So let me do a cut here really quick and we'll see what it looks like when it's all put together. Now here it is when it's all put together. Now I like to use this kind of cutter, this shear type cutter. It gives the nice straight cuts. So you can have, I use that here on this spa hose. Actually no, I use the miter saw at first because that'll also give you a nice square cut too. But I find that this actually works better because then you don't get all those little plastic pieces flying all over the place. And you can see it just goes all the way around and it touches and it just looks really nice. And any plastic pipe, I find, will cut very nicely with that tool. And they sell several different sizes. This is a larger one. So you can see now easily how it goes into the hair dryer, and then the 2 inch spa hose. And you can use other types of hose too. Any type of 2 inch hose will work. I just decided to use spa hose because it was cheaper than like the vinyl. The vinyl, you also have to be concerned with smells and odors, because some of the PVC pipe can smell really bad when it gets hot. So you keep that in mind. That's actually why I ended up going, one reason I ended up going with polyethylene pipe here for this piece. And another reason is this can get hotter. It has a higher softening, what do they call that? Softening point than PVC, because I was using PVC and it was just getting all floppy from the heat. So these are nylon. They don't have to be, but if you can find nylon, I find nylon is some of the best plastic pipe material. And that's it. Just goes from the 2 inch down to the 1 inch. And then to show you how it actually goes in, actually what I do is I leave it on its side like this. It goes into, just pretend I'm putting it in there, because now this isn't clean and I don't want to put it in my nice clean thermos until I clean this off, because I've been handling it and stuff. Just imagine that's going into that thermos. You want to put it in about that far. That way you have space for the air to get back out again. And then there will be about as much, if you cut it to the right length, at the end for the air to come out and blow. And it blows the air out the end, and then the air hits the bottom of the thermos and it comes around the outside and then out the opening at the top and back into the room again. And I hope that someone finds that helpful. You can also use this to heat up the thermos, to preheat it if you're pouring a hot drink into it. If you're not, when you get done, you might want to pour a little bit of clean water into it just to cool it back down before you put your cold drink in. And I hope once someone finds this helpful, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.